Chef Jacques Pepin.
Thank you very much. I'm here with my daughter Claudine. I didn't know that Joseph was from New York. I am from Connecticut, that's why we have a different accent. You can see that? I've been in this country longer than most of you.
Hello! Welcome to The Corner Table, a Capital Times podcast about food and drink in Madison, Wisconsin. I am your host, Lindsay Christians, food and arts writer for the Capital Times. This week we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Starting next week, The Corner Table will be moving to an every other week schedule. In the meantime, I wanted to do a mini episode that looks behind the scenes of some of my recent food coverage, namely Jacques Pepin's visit to Madison for a fundraiser at Sardine in early October. I've got a lot of plans coming up for some really fun interviews, so stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't yet, and thank you for listening.
First and foremost, guys, let's have fun tonight. This is a celebration, so everybody kind of collaborate and help out with everything and get it out. Really grateful to you guys giving up your restaurant on a Friday night and all the hard work that you've done. Really appreciate it. It's going to be a great event. It's for a great cause.
Yeah, let's have fun. Thanks, man.
Let's have fun.
Yes, it's a party. Thanks, everybody. Let's have the best in town here, guys.
In early October, Gotham Bagel's owner Joe Gallio invited famous chef, author, and television personality Jacques Pepin to Madison for a fundraising dinner at Sardine. Pepin is 82 years old, and he's an incredibly warm and generous presence. As I watched, he posed for pictures with anybody who asked him, just over and over again. This was a fundraiser for suicide prevention services at Journey Mental Health, a cause that Jacques and his daughter Claudine found out about that night. One quick note about the audio here. It's not great. I tend to use a little portable recorder that just lets me check my facts later so I don't misquote anybody, but I thought it might be fun for you guys to hear some of this. Check it out.
Whatever. So we learned about the cause and the reason this evening. And my dad reminded me about how giving chefs are. So if you walk into any executive chef's office, there's a bin that has 45 invitations. My kids' PTA, the school, the playgrounds, the sports teams, the fashion industry, the tablecloth people, the whatever. And no, seriously, I mean, it's like one after another. Can you contribute? Can you do this? Can you do this for free? And it's true what Joseph says. We work on weekends, we work on Mother's Day, which I'm delighted because I hate Mother's Day. And Valentine's Day I hate even more. It's like a time at the same time. But so the chefs give, and they give, and they give, and they give. And sometimes they need just a little bit more support than we have traditionally given to the chefs.
Jacques spent a lot of time signing everybody's cookbooks and memoirs, other things that they had brought and he had brought, but he only spoke to the room once briefly, and here's a little excerpt of that. He's addressing John Gadow and Philip Hurley from Sardine. He's saying that the kitchen in a restaurant has always been home for him.
All right, well, Philip and John, this is your house. Thank you so much for having us here. I have been a chef almost 70 years now. I left home in 1949 in France to go into a formal apprenticeship. However, home was a restaurant. So in my family I can count 12 restaurants in France. 12 of them owned by women and run by women. I'm the first male to go into that business. So.
Jacques said that he had come to Wisconsin a few times before, but mainly for classes at Kohler, up in the Sheboygan area, and for a food festival in Milwaukee. He said he was happy to be back.
Food festival. So it's always great to be here. I mean, no question that food brings people together in our time of polarization, if you want, you know, in the whole world of politics and so forth. In the food world, you know, when you are behind the stove, and whether your skin is black or white, or whether you have that religion or another, makes no difference. You know, you have, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, at 12 o'clock you have 100 people coming sit down in the restaurant and you have to move ahead and all that. So food, in many ways, is an equalizer. And in the dining room, not only in the cooking, but in the dining room, you sit down, you can sit down next to the president of General Motors. You don't know him, doesn't know you, but in a normal situation, he would never sit with you, but around the table, this is what the table is all about. Sharing food, cooking together. Meanwhile, I wish you the best tonight, and bon appetit, and thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
That was my little yay there at the end. Of course, you probably could have guessed that. You can find the story about this whole event online at madison.com. I was there early, actually, about half an hour before dinner service started, and I snuck back behind into the kitchen at Sardine and talked to the chefs as they were peeling potatoes and prepping little rolls of beef and, making the different appetizers that they were going to pass and prepping their entrees. One of my favorite conversations that happened as part of that was with Dan Fox about his dish, which was a mushroom duxelle dish with fish, and I chatted with him. He came late, actually, so I swung back after the dinner service had started. Here's a little bit of that audio, just for your own enjoyment. Please note, this is kind of hard to hear, but there are some curse words in it. So if you have a thing about curse words, just a heads up about that.
There's forced mushroom, duxelle, and scallop mousse stuffed over sole with a Madeira mushroom cream sauce, fluted mushrooms. It's like a technique where you carve them. Well, we did the maitakes on there because the maitakes were in the mousse, and then I did fluted mushrooms because in honor of Jacques Pepin. But when I was looking at videos on Jacques Pepin, fluted mushrooms kept on coming up. I was like, well, fuck yeah. So we've been practicing this dish for a couple weeks. I've been fluting in the kitchen. I actually sent one of our office folks to the Wisconsin Dells to pick up button mushrooms because they need to be super fast to carve them. Otherwise they break down. So it's the fluted mushrooms, Ossetra caviar, and potato gaufrette. I guess there were malted leeks on there, but that's more. I had the honor of Jacques Pepin critiquing the dish.
Did he actually critique it?
He did, yeah.
What did he say?
He said he could have used more sauce, which I was really worried about because when you do it family style, you just pick up a scoop.
Yeah.
And that dish, that mousse, it begs for sauce. It has to have sauce.
Finally, here's a little of the audio that I got when I went back into the kitchen about a half hour before service and chatted with some of the chefs. First, talking here, you're going to hear Patrick DePula, the owner of Salvatore's Tomato Pies, talking about watching Jacques Pepin when he was a kid.
As a kid, I was able to watch Jacques Pepin on television and, with my grandma, actually, and it was like my grandmother would use recipes of these and experiment, and so it's really kind of an awesome experience to be able to do this dinner in his honor with all of our friends in Madison and my fellow chefs.
The next voices you're going to hear are Chef Francesco Mangiano from Osteria Papavero and Molly Machewski from Madison Sourdough. They are peeling potatoes and getting ready for service.
I want to pay, to be honest, I want to pay to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to watch. Okay, I want, but you go to school and you hear about a guy and uses techniques and so just happy to be around, but I would definitely pay to be here.
This has been a mini episode of The Corner Table, a podcast about food and drink in Madison, Wisconsin, produced by the Capital Times. Our music was composed by Patrick Christians. You can find more food and drink news and, as I said, this story about Jacques Pepin's visit to Madison at madison.com and follow us on Facebook at The Corner Table Podcast. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, lots of other places. I hope you do. I am your host, Cap Times food writer Lindsay Christians, and my wish for you this week is grilled delicata squash while it is still barely warm enough to cook outside. Cheers!